This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with me, the real Theo Harvey.
And it's me, Mr. Benja.
Man, Mr. Benja, let's get right into it. We are talking about Superman versus Fantastic Fours, the battle of the summer in the movie theaters. But Mr. Benja, you didn't even go see it this summer, man. So what are people watching right now, man? I mean, I can go into details. I've seen both, but what are people watching? What are you watching?
I thought we weren't going to bring that up like this, man. Why you going to blast me like that? Oh my God! All right, I'm on blast now. Haven't seen Fantastic Four, haven't seen Superman, and I'm supposed to be part of this podcast, Show versus Business. True, true. Shout out to Pete for holding it down on the Superman discussion last week. But you know what, man? It just hasn't been grabbing my attention, and that's a big theme. It's a running problem. But as far as Fantastic Four and Superman, yeah, it's. I'm like, okay, who's winning now? Isn't Fantastic Four making more money? I don't even know.
I mean, I think Superman's still making more money at this point, but the second weekend in a row, I mean, if you look at the numbers, Fantastic Four made another looks like it's gonna right now it's almost 200 million worldwide box office, but it dropped 66% from this first weekend, which was last week, which is not as good as Superman. Superman kind of held the second weekend, it was in the 53 percentile. So I think there's an issue there with people. Yeah, I saw Fantastic Four, loved it, and then
Hmm.
everyone else is like, I could wait. You could watch it on the iPod, you know. And so I think not too many people are, is not that high. I guess when you have a whole weight in the 50s, like we did for Superman, that means that has some legs, right? It's gonna stay longer. And we're not seeing that with Fantastic Four. So 200 million. So it might end up in par with how much Captain America and Thunderbolts made
How much?
worldwide box office? Roughly about 450 million. So are we going to have the third Marvel movie this year make less than 500 million? That's unheard of. These movies are used to making a billion, 600, 7, I mean,
Yeah.
700, 800 million.
Well, as far as quality goes, though, would you assume either of these should be billion-dollar movies?
Great point. I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at it from a business standpoint, right? Fantastic Four is really its own kind of thing. So, any new introduction of characters in Marvel Universe and very, very rarely, enters the $1 billion mark. Now, Captain Marvel did, but that was a special case because it just came after Endgame, right? But
Yeah.
very
Hmm.
rarely those make, but they do make more than 400 million, Mr. Benja. They top out like 500-600 million where they
Right.
introduce a
Right.
new character. But Captain America, Brave New World, I mean, they're introducing a new Captain America, Black American Falcon. Go check
Falcon.
that out.
Yeah. Of the Bayou. Yeah. Yeah.
and there was some pushback, unfortunately, on that. Maybe deservedly so, somewhat. And then Thunderbolts was really got good quality scores, from people who went. But let's be honest, these are some B-level characters and not a lot of folks probably knew them as well. And it didn't seem like a you didn't see Thunderbolts, did you? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a big enough movie, like hey, I need to go see this in the theaters type of thing. I mean, it seemed like a nice little movie to go check out, at on Disney Plus. So anyway, make a long story short, yeah, these weren't the ones and that's a problem, right, with Marvel. Now, Superman, yes, I think it was definitely grandiose. But the challenge there is DC, DCU is definitely in the dumps right now. And James Gunn doing all he can to kind of get it back up there with all the tweeting and all the talking on YouTube and all this stuff. But I just don't know if that's enough to kind of get Superman. I mean, me and Pete, Pace and Pete talked
Hmm.
about it the last time. This could probably make as much money as Man of Steel did, Mr. Bencher. That sucks.
Mm,
If it makes as
yeah.
much as Super, what do we do all this for?
Yeah. When that happens, I mean, the idea is always to do something and then be able to keep growing and doing bigger things later. But when you do your later thing, and it's like not even hitting the numbers that you had before, you start to wonder, right?
I mean, this is ridiculous, and this is inflation. It's going to make less than Man of Steel did, and people lambasted that movie. I mean, what uh, uh, Zack Snyder was doing, right? They lambasted it, and here comes Gunn,
Yeah.
and they changed the whole studio. They changed the heads of the studio, director, direction of
Yep.
DC, and all this stuff. New casting, and we got the same amount of money. It's crazy. So,
So speaking, let me. This isn't like in our core discussion here, but I want to add in a question. How does Warner Brothers splitting off of Discovery? Is this like a really bad foot to start off on, or is this the kind of freedom they need, or what's going on?
oh yeah, you saw about that foolishness, Mr. Benja. Corporate shenanigans at its finest.
Juicy
So yes.
juiciness, as we call it.
Oh man, so much juiciness. So we talked about this on previous pod. David Zaslav came from Discovery Channel, which was known for Dr. Pimple Popper of all things. They went ahead and bought HBO from AT&T, which is another ish show, right?
Story. Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about that previously. So anyway, so now we had a reality channel bought, you know, quote unquote, arguably Warner Brothers, a historic studio plus HBO, which is known for quality,
Mhm.
right? Sopranos and stuff, and try to combine the two. We talked about this. Remember, we talked about this: the lean
Yeah.
in versus the lean back kind of content. That was the whole
Yeah.
strategy. Well, Mr. Benja, that strategy was shit. So they just said, scrap all that nonsense, man. We're gonna go back to here's HBO quality. Matter of fact, it got so bad, Mr. Benja, they had renamed their app Max, right? They said, oh, forget
Yeah.
HBO Max.
Just Max by
It's
itself.
Max. 1 year later, oh, we're gonna put back HBO Max. So they went right back to the same brand
Yeah.
name. Oh man, it's just corporate shenanigans. So yeah, man. So they split them apart so they can have HBO, which is always should have been this way. Focus on quality content, and Warner Brothers, focus on studios, movies, and all that. And Discovery do all the things they do with the reality shows and my 600-pound life and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man. 90 Day Fiance. Um, don't ask how I know all these reality shows. I just saying I heard about them. I may or may not. Mr. Bidget, I'm going off a rail here.
That's funny.
Remember the reality, Mr. Bidget, when we all have done this. This is like, you remember those days back in like college or even when you graduate from school, where just on a weekend, you end up getting sucked in to a reality show for one day. Has that ever happened to you, Mr. Benji?
Yes, unfortunately. I happen to know somebody. Um, I met him. I met him at a birthday party at a club, and they were on Survivor. I won't say who. But he was like, "Hey, you got to meet this girl. She's cool." And da 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 da. And like the first thing is, everybody was waiting to say it. It's like, "Hi, this is Benjamin. This is such and such." Da da da. Talk. Okay, cool. How you doing? Da da da. Hey, hey, hey. And then somebody broke the silence. They leaned in. You know, she was on Survivor, and it was like, and it's like it was just like this little thing. It's like an LA thing, like, hey, you better ask her what she's working on next or what project she's got going on. It's this whole little Hollywood dance. And man, I'm like, okay, cool, cool, nice person. We talked and everything. Later on, I'm at home. I'm like, huh, I've never really like gotten into Survivor, but let me see what this is about. Found it, found it, found the season and the episodes and all that. Hit play. I was like, oh yeah, there she is. Next thing I know, well, how are they gonna find wood to make a fire when it just rained and all their? Oh man, this is terrible. It's just
Oh man. So many reality shows. You just get sucked in and you just like, why am I watching
yeah.
this? I can't stop watching. And they know. They
Eight
know.
8 hours later.
I know, man. Whole weekends can be gone, man. Watching a whole season of a reality show. Yeah, I may or may not have hired someone that used to be on the Bachelor. So yes,
Oh
I've been there. So it comes up maybe about the fourth discussion with somebody. So it's
yeah.
like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for letting me know. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, man, they split up the two companies. So Discovery does reality shows and then Warner Brothers does quality stuff. So yeah, I think there is a discussion of quality and what that means for these type of movies for the future. But from a business standpoint, hopefully, and Warner Brothers Studios, let's quite frankly, they're winning right now. They had Minecraft this year, they had Sinners, they had
Hmm.
Superman. Uh, what else came out that was good for them? Oh, well, Bloodline. I don't know if you saw that Final Destination. They brought that back after like
Right. Right.
15 years. That did well. So they got like four movies, quote unquote, hits that are, bubbling up. So Warner Brothers is on the high this year. So yeah, it made sense to kind of rebrand, reintroduce myself. My name is WB. So
Yeah.
they came back into the scenario, man. So that's what happened there.
So, I wanted to ask about that because one of the things that any kind of corporate or public change up does is it naturally brings attention to something, right? So, anytime, like, hey, this guy got kicked off their record label, or this guy, he was slated to do this movie, but he got into a fallout with his wife, and next thing you know, that movie got canceled, and we haven't seen him for 5 years. There's a story, and that then allows you to do something creatively different because people are looking at you and they're watching for you. And this is one of those things I was thinking about where, like, you know, Warner Brothers could really use this attention to slingshot, the whole Superman DC side of things, saying, hey, we're not with Discovery anymore. We're about to do some interesting things. It's going to be cool. So that's the actual reason I was thinking about that in terms of attention. And, Marvel, it seems like they have the opposite attention problem where it's just like, ain't nothing going on, but look at Mr. Stretchy Man right here. It's like,
If you seen the movie, he didn't really stretch that much either. So that's
oh,
a whole nother topic. Yeah. Well, it was telling, man. Neither DC nor Marvel showed it at Comic Con this year, right? We talked about that on the last pod. So yeah, man. Marvel is definitely down. I mean, so we'll talk about this, man. But I mean, you see all the news about Spider-Man Brand New Day. You saw they're trying to get you hype about uh Avengers Doomsday and all this stuff. And it's just like I'm hearing more excitement coming from what's possible than what's actually out now. I mean, so it's kind of like Marvel's kind of going a dormant cycle, right? Or getting you hype about the new X-Men coming out. Oh, look at the casting for the X-Men. It's like, what about the real stuff, man? What are we doing with with what's out there now, comic books? So
well, yeah, and that's what we talked about as a problem. Well, I remember I was shouting it, where it's like it becomes, um, Easter egg media, where it's like I'm not really so concerned about what happened, but what little interesting things or Easter eggs can you spoil, not spoil? What can I keep secret? What can we talk about? And when you come out of a movie and people are like, "Was it a good movie?" Yeah, screw the movie. In the post-credit scene, you know what's coming next, and you're like, "Wait, what? Talk about what happened to the movie? Where's the post-credits? Talk about that." So I get that, and I wonder how much Marvel is holding on to, that type of vibe, and can they escape from it?
yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's not as and even so, we'll talk about this later. Was driving attention, right? It's funny. Even like the big ones, the big guys, right? They had this influx of content. When I say the big guys, basically big content. YouTube guys, what's it called? Screen Crush and
Dream
New Rock
Crush.
Stars, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, they always, oh, here's 101 Easter eggs, right? Of what happened in Superman, or what's this?
Yeah.
Even they're starting to pivot, Mr. Bitch. I saw them do reviews on Kendrick Lamar video.
Oh
I
man.
saw them do. I saw them do. We'll talk about this a political kind of one, talking about South Park. So it's kind of like, what are we doing here, man? Are we kind of getting out of like the whole nerd game now? Because it does seem like people are like, it kind of had his apex moment, and it's like it does seem there's because if these movies are only going to, if we're not going to see another $1 billion movie, I mean,
Hmm.
Marvel's hoping, praying that Doomsday, there's enough heat there, all the different empty chairs, all the different empty chairs that we got there,
Yeah.
right? That there's enough heat to get $1 billion. If that can't get $1 billion, Mr. Benja, then I think that's a wrap. We're gonna see these movies again, but they're not gonna spend that much money. If they spend $200 million just to make 400 million or 500 million worldwide on these movies, that is not a sustainable model. The only reason these movies work is you make
Hmm.
$1 billion because they put too
Right.
much money into it. And so it's kind of like, so I think next year when Doomsday gets released, that's going to be,
Yeah.
make or break for these movies. Because what's coming for
Yeah.
DC? What's after Superman? They're talking about a freaking Clayface movie. They're talking about a freaking
Yeah.
Supergirl movie. Who's watching that? I mean, it's cool.
But okay, yes, it is definitely cool. And um, for any of my creative types, or you know pure artistic types, you got to step back a moment. When what Theo's talking about here is not just making $1 billion in the box office. That is a mark of presence. Like once you do that, then you have the authority to go you know build out a bunch of clothing lines, toys. If you do collaborations, you may get to see books. You walk into a grocery store, and it's like, hey, let's get some Wonder Bread. And then it's like Spider-Man's on the side of the Wonder Bread. And you're like, why is Spider-Man on the Wonder Bread? And it's like, oh, it's just, it's back to school time, and Spider-Man supports schools. It's like that, those types of collaborations start happening when you have a billion-dollar movie that causes that much presence. So for anybody who saw the Avengers, trust me, before Avengers, you wouldn't see Thor anywhere outside the comic book shop. Nobody cared. Maybe you get a T-shirt here and there, but nobody. It was just not a thing. So well after the Avengers has come out, done their billions of dollars of revenue in the box office, that also translates to a lot of money just happening out in society in general. That's relatively predictable and safe. It's good money.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I just want to address this comment here I see from Casual Nerd Problems. Thanks for watching. You had mentioned just wondering how does Avatar make over 1 billion. And for those that don't know, we record this for later. We do these shows live. So go check us out live sometimes, Show versus Business, usually
That's
on
right.
Sunday afternoons. But so casual nerd problems. Yeah, that's a good point. Avatar. So I think there was two things driving that. You have a director that's just, James Cameron. Number one, I sometimes I don't even understand it, but I think he just has such a brand based on quality. I mean, this goes back to the '90s, Mr. Benja College, right? Titanic. There was rumors this movie went over budget. It was all this money and all this stuff, and that movie still killed it, man. I mean, I remember I took a date to go see that movie, man, years ago. And I was just like, "This is a good movie." I'm over here crying, man. I can't let this girl see I'm crying. That's probably why I didn't get a second date. But so I was too emotional, man. It was good, and so he
Yeah.
just knows how to do great storytelling, James Cameron. And so when he came
Mhm.
with this Avatar concept, number one, I think the technology it blew our mind when we first saw the first movie. Then he took him 15, 20 years later to come up with the second one. No way. I didn't think it was going to make that much money. But I think what happened was the quality was just so high. I mean, if you see that movie, you see where the money went. It was not like it wasn't like a Marvel movie, it wasn't all this other stuff. It was like, damn, he spent time and effort to make it look gorgeous, right? Now the story was, I thought was decent, but wasn't earth shattering. But the visuals is just amazing. And you can tell everything is kind of like a George Lucas, right? Everything had intentionality that was on screen, and people feel that. I mean, you're an artist, Mr. Benja, right? I think when people know when an artist puts the work in. And so I think because there was nothing like it, the storyline, and it was so long, so you had the nostalgia play, and the quality was so high. So differentiation, high quality, and nostalgia. I think that helped to get to the billion. So we'll be curious to see this Fire and Ash, get to the next level to that $1 billion. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Like when something disappears for so long and then promises to come back, it kind of just brings up all those memories, and you've been starving for it for so long. That's if you can ride that momentum right into the theaters and it's not bad, it doesn't suck, then You've done much of the legwork right there.
Mhm.
Shout out to the Cliffs. I haven't listened to an album from front to back multiple times in a while, and they just returned after 16 years. And much of it was like, hey, what do I do in the absence of listening to them? The last time I heard a Clips album, banger. Okay, 16 years, and now you're kind of waiting. So
No, I was going to bring it. That's a great point. I was thinking about that too. Said the Clips. What's the Clips doing out here in these streets, man? They were
yeah,
at what's that Tiny Desk? They did all the things that
yeah,
artists do. I like the Clips. Why are they trending right now? I'm like, dang, I hate the Clips. Is it a good album?
yeah, yeah. Um, I honest to goodness, I had to remember what the clip sounded like and why they do art the way they do. Because the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh, hold on now. I've been listening to everything from recently, and it's new, but it forces you to go all the way back and remember how they were because it picks up. And there's some poetry in there, man. And it's it's non-apologetic, and it's like, no, this is clips, this is poetry that we're doing, this is not your normal rap. So props to him, man.
Interesting.
I thought it was good. And here's how it starts. It doesn't even start with a commercial banger. It starts with um them, they're brothers, right? Two Clips rappers. It starts with them learning about the day their father died,
Ooh, deep,
and you
deep cut.
start an album like that. So it's like, we're gonna start heavy.
Wow. That I mean, as an artist, but I guess artists are always dropping stuff. But to actually finally come out with something after 2 years, I mean, excuse me, 16 years, and just drop it to this market at this time, that takes some guts, man. I guess that's what artists do, man. Because like you said, it's like we haven't heard about them in so long, and now they're coming out now, right? Usually artists like
Yeah.
drop a little passion project, just to see if it gets some legs, and then they just kind of let it sit there. I saw Chance the Rapper. I was thinking about him the other day. I saw he's finally dropping the album, so I think it's sometime next year. So we'll see what happens with Chance the Rapper's career. But Mr. Benja, this brings up something when you kind of talk about the clips in 16 years. We've been talking, we talk about movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. But Mr. Benja, what are people doing, man, here in the summer, man? This is what they call, quote unquote, the dog day of summers, August 3rd, as we record this. And man, when you said you're not checking out for these movies, I'm like, man, what are people doing, right? And reason why I'm bringing this up is because you had mentioned, music, and I just had the opportunity. This is one of the things people are doing, going to concerts. Had the opportunity to see the Breezy Bowl here in Tampa.
Oh
And
God.
so Chris Brown, his
Oh
first ever studio kind of tour. And it's worldwide. He's going all over the world, man. And
yeah.
at first glance, like Chris Brown, hmm. And well, let me ask you something. What would you think a Chris Brown stadium tour concert is like? I mean, you know what a Beyonce is like. You know what a Taylor Swift is going to be like. But what does a Chris Breezy studio tour look like?
I'm laughing because the jokes and the memes from the comment section on any type of, Chris Brown performance, they're always there. And it's like, oh, what's he gonna do on this tour? Is he gonna punch some woman in the first row? It's like,
Oh.
and that's coming. But what's funny is with Chris Brown, it's like he's got this brand of, I'm a bad boy. I know it. I did it. I'm sorry. We can't talk about too much about it, but here's my new single. And it's like he just kept on plugging. So now it's like I'm watching Chris Brown and thinking about him as the story of the guy that just kept plugging forward. And
Hmm.
it's like,
Hmm.
so what do I think about it? I mean, I still, and it just has never gone away. This fangirlism that just shows up every time.
Yeah, I mean, he's has this aura, this quote unquote lazy man. Surprisingly, good show. I mean, because number one, he's got hits, dude. I mean, he got so many hits. It's like a 3 hour extravaganza, man. It's like it gets so much you're like overwhelmed with how many hits he has, man. And so many hits you forget how many hits he has. And it's like I was like, I gotta go. I mean, people were leaving literally when he was doing some of his biggest hits. It was just like because it was so much, man. And
Yeah.
because he's been there. This is a 20 years, right? Since he first came out. He was only 16, so now he's 36, almost leading on 40, and he still got the moves, still got the voice, even though he's got all the tattoos and the baggage. And someone like him, maybe in the 70s and 80s, he probably would,
Uh,
quote unquote, been gone. Let's be honest, just riding that high and running so hard. But for whatever reason, man, it's just like he can still grind like that at that level, man. And matter of fact, there
right.
was even parts where because he's been featured in so many other type of other people's songs, they even had
Hmm.
like what they call Breezy remix where they would just they would just have different songs that he was featured in, and people knew all the songs from that. Matter of fact, he had one where the DJ was playing it, and he said, "Hey, Breezy, why don't you come out for a little bit?" Breezy said, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" He just came out. He said, "Okay, just sing this song real quick." He sang like three of his features, like just like that. The most popular one was the one he would did Lil Dicky, Freaky Friday, which is hot.
Yeah.
He came up, bust that out. He said, "Okay, see you later. Let me go change for my next set." Yeah, so if you go look on YouTube, guys, or Instagram or TikTok, and go check out, some of his concerts. But it's just overwhelming, man, how much stuff. So that's number one. It just overwhelms you with just how much content he has. And the other part is he's definitely one note. Let's be honest, a lot of sexual innuendos and, and that. I seen the Usher concert. There's a lot of stuff in there, but not nearly as enough as Chris Breezy. And so it's almost to the point where you're like, oh, I knew he had a lot, but it's just like, uh, you know. So it's almost like, what else are you doing with your art? I mean, he
Yeah.
goes down this one lane and he stays in that lane. And so it's kind of like interesting. But yeah, man, he just never he just doesn't quit.
You know what? That's a good point. Now, we were talking about attention here, and we never stated it explicitly, but once you find something good in an era of unsurety where you're just not sure about stuff, people hold on hard to what they know. Even if they know, like, they should stop, eating 5 bowls of cornflakes, frosted flakes every day, even if they know that they should stop whatever habits or this, if it's something they know in an era of uncertainty, chances are they're going to hold on to it. And as far as business goes with attention, it's like you're going to get asked to either um, do something new, big, audacious, and bold that forces attention, or it's like, hey, listen, we got something good here, and it's not necessarily good times. You got to hold on to something that's good. All right. All right. So you got
Don't
these
change
two
it.
kind of extremes, right?
Yeah, good point. Don't change it, man. If it works, don't change it. And that's what Chris Brown's been doing. He doesn't do acting. He doesn't
Hmm.
do anything else. He did try all that stuff earlier before the Rihanna. There was a pre Riri and there's after Riri. Let's be honest of his career.
Pre Riri.
Pre Riri, after Riri, and after Riri, it's all been about the music and just getting as many features as possible. Casual nerd problems. Yeah, he probably is still charging $1,000 for picks. Because you're right, that fangirl experience is real. I mean, I never seen so many twerking in the stands and people just out here just doing what they do. Women wise. I mean, you literally had the camera. It was a jumbotron, right? We're at a stadium for football players, so basically, the camera zooming around, girls like, yeah. Then
Yeah.
they see the camera on them, heads turn and something else comes up. So and I mean, literally, I saw more TNA, man, than I don't know, last rated R movie. It was a lot going on, and I don't know how many kids were there, but it was not a friendly show. And I can just imagine it's a worldwide tour. So now he goes overseas where they're a little more free with all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Chris Brown, man, he's just just been doing it for so long, grinded, and the hits that he has. And I agree that the surety of a brand is so powerful. Alex Hermosi talks about that, right? Just staying focused on that, and
Yeah.
I think that's becoming more relevant now. Once you kind of have something that works, don't change. Just keep doing it. So grabbing attention that way, right? Just the longevity and staying true to yourself, and as an artist or just as content is key. What else is driving attention this summer, Mr. Benja? What else you seeing?
Um, I was about to jump to something, but it's not here on the list, so I'm gonna add it anyway.
Yeah, do it.
Um, this magazine editor online, I didn't know that what their whole business was, but I found that they were getting reposted and reshared throughout parts of the music side of things. And we don't traditionally focus on music, but I want to throw Ye into the mix.
Of course.
The artist formerly known as Kanye
Yes.
West. Throw him into the mix. Listen, before we go anywhere, once again, remember I do not consider Kanye West a person. I do not consider Ye an actual human individual. Ye is an art project. He's just a walking art project with a pulse. Um, and
Okay.
I think that's how he's fashioned his life. I think that's how he's fashioned everything that he's been doing as an art project first. Then family man, husband, father, individual, whatever else. But a force of the artistic gods is what he believes he is, and an art project is what I think he is. So
I love it.
that said, um, yeah, it's like he. We're talking about attention, and Ye was out there doing some stuff, and you remember the Eaton fires that happened, the fires out here that
Mhm.
ravaged the
Yeah.
beaches and everything.
Yeah.
Ye took this classic house, and everyone's like, "Oh, the architect was this and that. The interior design was perfect, immaculate." Ye basically came in and gutted this house and had nothing in it but like a sleeping bag, and he was just living in this completely empty house, which was basically just a frame. And everybody's like, "Why is he doing this?" And he's like, "Look, I'm here for minimalism at the highest quality." And it's like, Dog, what are you doing to this house? It's beautiful." And so there was nothing in there except for the concrete and Ye in his sleeping bag, basically, right? For a little while. These big fires go down, right? There's nothing in the house to burn. So the only thing left standing in all these ashes is the house that Ye destroyed. And it's like his antics just continually get attention. And I'm starting to wonder how many people are between Ye, Donald Trump, all these media companies, are they just going to start going into heavy antics mode to just try anything? How are we already there?
Shenanigans,
Basically,
machinations. Yeah, man. It's we in this attention economy. I mean, Gary Vee phrased that years ago, and it's becoming more of a reality now. As we see social media. I mean, the stuff that's supposed to be important to us, like politics, man, that's being driven by the attention economy. I don't know, how many people are paying attention to politics as much, but this whole Epstein files crap, right? It's just this is what's driving our discourse and considered something that we need to pay attention to, right? And it's like,
yeah,
what are we doing here, man? This is, whatever you believe or not, literally, it's a fringe of a fringe thing, right? And yes, it's tragic what happened to the women, but it's one of those things. Is like, this Epstein files. Who's gonna release it? Who's gonna do all this stuff? It's just like, why are we doing this, man? Because if they didn't talk about it, no one would pay attention. So it's kind of like they're doing it because people are paying attention, and now drawn to it. Yeah, they could do a bunch of other stuff that's way worse, but we wouldn't care. So, but as long as there's more attention, that's what we're going to drive down the path of, right? And then the opposite party, one time they said, Democrats said they did, there's nothing in it, who cares? But then as soon as they got some heat in social media, guess what? Now they all like, oh, look at this, we want to see what's in
oh,
the files. So it's like, what are we doing here, man? So it's
yeah,
just like, wow, man. Kanye and Trump and just these guys out here just doing whatever it takes to. I mean, you saw what Trump said. I mean, he was
pop,
trying to prosecute Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey. He said Obama should go to jail. Talking about pardoning Diddy. You saw all that
yeah,
stuff. It's like he knows.
yeah,
Give us some stuff to talk about.
yeah, yeah, and the whole political attention thing is funny. I just wonder where I kind of wonder where society goes, man, because at some point, attention just becomes people making noise, and we already have more noise, more volume than we can properly accept, right? All these movements
Easily.
about putting your phone down and hey, just getting back, relaxing. Oh, I got to tell you about my new meditation in a little while.
Oh,
But
nice.
all these things, I had to develop a new meditation for this all this noise that we're getting. Um, but yeah, it's draining, man, and I don't know what to do with it.
It's a lot. It's the overwhelm can be a lot, and I think not just in your personal lives. Like I mean, literally every week I have a process that I have to go through. Like any ideas or thoughts and stuff, I gotta put into a process. If I don't, I would get overwhelmed. And then you gotta combat that with the algorithm, which
mhm.
knows us more and more, better and better. Let's be honest, it does. I mean, literally, I have been on Facebook. I probably don't I get on Facebook maybe once a quarter, if that. I literally got on it like the first time the other day because my wife's birthday was up and I got to do the obligatory happy birthday to my wife, thing. That's what
Yeah,
she loves. So I got to do it.
that was beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
I did like that post.
thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. No, she did. She liked it too. So, you do that. But guess what ended up happening? 2 hours later, I'm still on Facebook, man. I'm like, what is this? I just know
Yeah,
certain things like Facebook, I don't mind being on YouTube too much as a distraction because at least halfway I'm learning something, right? Or getting some concepts. But other
yeah,
than that, any other social media channel, man, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I'm in the matrix, man. And so I think you have to kind of put up these guardrails and so that's why I'm asking, what is driving people's attention now? I think it's all over the place, number one. And so what voice is yelling the loudest to get everybody's attention? I think that's the question I want to kind of understand.
yeah. If you're listening, throw down the comment. What's driving your attention? How do you decide what to pay attention to? What do you prefer paying attention to, and what have you let fall off? Yeah, just want to know some perspective. It's interesting stuff.
Because you remember back in the day, yeah, you remember back in the day, real quick, what kind of drove attention was like, what your social calendar people were talking about, right? Your social. So if me and you were talking, then yeah, we're gonna go look at something. Your community, but I don't think that's the case anymore, man. We're definitely been
Right, right.
driving more by these this algorithmic uh monster, right, to kind of drive our attention to similar things and certain people can now understand that better than others, right? We talk about YouTube gurus all the time. Someone who understands this absolutely is Kai Cenat, right? This is a guy you
Yeah,
put me on. I didn't know who he was from Adam till maybe a year ago till
yeah,
you kind of start mentioning him. And he's running things. He's running so much that he got featured on. I think it was the cover of Time, wasn't it? He was on the cover of one magazine. Um, so
yeah. Just time.
yeah, here's a guy who's a streamer um basically out here just putting crazy content out on Twitch and other streaming kind of content. He's got the most followers, views. He did 30 days of just nonstop streaming. He just did streaming university. He's just getting all the attention, Mr. Benja. And so it's kind of like, so yes, we have the politics, we got music, we got this, but internet world, man, what's driving people's attention there? Like someone like Kai Cenat, how's he capturing that and holding on to that?
The entire idea of community is different now, and I'm rolling over some thoughts and memories in my head here. Like when you spoke about your community was the people you interacted with, your immediate family, the people you went to school with, the people right around you, and it became this. I mean, it's still that way to a degree, um, but you kind of built on top of that. You connected those, made those connections together, and you kind of wanted to keep it tightly bound. Where it's like, hey, a new movie's coming out, and you'd be like, yeah, whatever. And then you go back to your community and your friends, and you're like, hey, what are we doing this Friday? Okay, we're going to the movies. We got to get the car from such and such. Hey, let's go. What about this? Has this ever come up in discussion? And it was more about what you and your community were watching. You fast forward with technology and breaking out even past the con scene with Comic Con and everything. Because honestly, if you were around during the earlier days of Comic Con, or even the heyday back when Marvel was doing its thing, you'd have people coming out of the woodworks and a huge line for something you've never even heard of.
Yeah.
I remember I saw the crowd for Supernatural. I was like, what in the ever flipping kind of line is this?
Mhm.
Supernatural. It's like, okay. Go around the corner and there's like another huge long line for Game of Thrones, book signing, and you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, winter's coming, baby, winter's coming. Everybody was connected like that. But as you said, with the algorithm, now that the algorithm is kind of pulling everything, I feel like the idea of community is very flavor of the month, which kind of destroys the idea of community.
Ooh,
It's
speak on
like
that.
I have I have been a subscriber to a service, but then all of a sudden, if I want to change to another service, I have no legal, no loyalty to the old service. I just don't care. There's no
Yeah.
concept of community or loyalty. I'm like, oh, Marvel's not on Netflix anymore. I'm not on Netflix anymore. I did that for a bit. It was like that was my rationale. Now it's like, oh, I don't want to watch anything on Disney Plus right now. Cool, I'm on Max right now, and it's weird that it's like that almost. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
It does make perfect sense for me as someone who's, kind of thinking about like how do you drive community around certain. I mean, some people have cracked the code. I think that was a. I mean, we talked offline about how you're starting to or have done communities before. I think also that was a big pandemic thing. We saw these people build these massive communities, and so they're still kind of leveraging that to kind of continue to grow.
Hmm.
But I don't think they're as sticky as they once were, right? It's like if I'm in a community and I may join. I mean, I don't know about you. I got a bunch of communities, but if I'm not getting value, I'll do a value evaluation at the end of the year and be like, I'll move on to the next one, right? And so I think it's that community building piece has to be driven by the leader of that or the guru, if you will. And if they're not consistently providing strong value for the majority of the folks, it's not going to last long, right? And so, yeah, so I think there's opportunity to build it, to your
Uh huh.
point, but I do feel like it's a lot tougher because you have to continuously, have strong value. And if you can, do that, if you're really actively looking to provide value for them, I think you have a shot. But if you're just trying to, have a community just to have a community, man, then they're not going to stick around, and the algorithm's going to get them because the algorithm is undefeated, right? The algorithm is going to find their, and it's going to get. I mean, and I think that's what's harder for these gurus, man. It's like, how do you? It's almost like they're giving you everything. It's like this is
Yeah.
everything I know. Now the hard part is to implement. What they say? Give the give the book, give the instruction, give the instructions, but sell the implementation. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me write that down. So you can give people the instructions all day, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, how many people gonna do it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The huh. So we're talking about community here. If I got a couple questions about it. One, can you make that? Well, I'll just go with this one first. Does the community need an actual guru, or can it just be virtual? Can you make like an AI guru? Is there such thing, or should there be such a thing?
I think people are trying. I mean, I've been reading about some other guys who some of these current gurus are creating their kind of like. Well, think about it, Mr. Benjamin. Did we talk about this last time? I think we did. Like, what they're going to create these virtual avatars like Tony the Tiger, kind of like
Yeah.
that's an avatar for Kellogg's, right? It's
Yeah.
let's be honest. So let's say I'm Mr. Beast and I create a beast monster, and
Yeah.
now he's the avatar, just building his brand up. And eventually Mr. Beast can step away. He said, that's Mr. Beast Jr., he's got 20 million followers. I don't need to be the face anymore. So yeah, I do believe you can create virtual avatars or virtual not you're right. So I don't think that, I think that's where it's going because, human beings by nature just cannot keep up with the algorithm. So you create an algorithm to draw the followers. And so I think that's where it's
Dog,
going long term.
my head just did a flip here. So there's a stat somewhere that says like over 50% of all social media traffic or all internet traffic, something like that, is it's a high percentage, whatever way you want to slice the metric, um, of all this traffic and interaction is bots, right?
Mhm.
Currently, though, it's bots from outside sources. Like somebody makes a platform and then a real person comes and talks on it, then a bot from somewhere else comes in and talks to that real person. And it's like you're starting to get interactions from outside sources. But if you can, with AI, manufacture your own, not even gurus, but if you have the technology for every Theo, let's say we create three other three other people, three other guys that go with your point of view, and three guys that, or five guys that go with your point of view, and three guys who go against your point of view. And I use AI to kind of build these bots, and they just become a part of your community. Now, years later, you're not sure who in your community is an actual person and who's not. I got caught up in the art. I got caught up in the art community, and a guy was I was sitting there not arguing with, but I noticed he kept making these posts, and I'm like, who is this guy? He's not like a bad guy. I just decided to look into his artwork and look into his page. The entire Facebook page and profile he had was AI. It was a bot. All his images were
Mm.
like AI generated, and he's up in this art form asking questions like, what type of pencil did you use? Like, what type of pencil did I use? And it's like, okay, who are you, man? You seem like you do good art. Why are you asking what kind of pencil the guy uses? And you go to his page and his website, and you find a page of recommendations, and he recommends those pencils to sell you. And it's like it's this weird internet bot long game that kind of weirded me out. But but I almost didn't mind it.
Mm. How so? Because the questions it was asking or was relevant to what they brought value to you?
No, it's like going to the park to play a game of basketball and no one's there versus some robots are there. You're like, yeah, I'll play with the robots.
So they're well, the value they are bringing value. The value is there's someone interacting, and there's life here, even if it's artificial life.
Yes, and that I don't like it, but I kind of liked it.
Got you. Interesting. Yeah. We see some comments in here. What are your thoughts about like communities making their own gurus, Mr. Benja? I haven't seen that as much anymore because I think, me personally, and maybe you've seen it, can communities kind of evolve and then, someone comes out of the community as a leader and people kind of follow that. Usually what I've seen is like gurus kind of create their own kind of communities and then kind of, have like proxies, other people who kind of moderate and stuff like that to kind of drive those communities. But I mean, I don't know. Have you seen anything like that evolve in your years of the internet?
Exactly what now? Hold on, because I want to make sure I'm getting what you're saying. With you've only seen it as the communities make their own gurus, or
No, no, I'm just asking, have you seen communities develop their own kind of, leaders outside, say, hey, we're following this guy, he keeps commenting, people it's like, hey, he should kind of lead the organization of, well, let me say this. Online I haven't seen it. Have I seen it in real life? Can someone evolve from, a group of kind of like a movie, you see these guys, they're working hard on something in the prison and then like Cool Hand Luke or something, and then all of a sudden people's like looking up to him. He's an unofficial leader, right? Because everyone looks to
right,
him
right.
first before they do anything. So I've seen that in movies, and stuff like that, but I haven't seen that online per se.
As
Because
far as the communities that we always talk about, and I mean, okay, well now we're getting into the definition of community. So, casual nerd problems. I'm actually curious about what you mean by communities make their own gurus. Um, I know people have people within an online group or a, like if you go to a certain Reddit forum, there's like the one or two people everybody upvotes, and they quote unquote follow that guy. They back that person, and the group kind of starts to follow their vibe in general. That's one thing when you say community, but you know, what we've traditionally talked about from the advertising and the marketing side of things is when someone says, "Hey, I'm kind of a guru here." Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Gary V. Step into my garage, see what I got going on here, and so that's two different ways of thinking about a guru and a community. The marketing side of things, hey, we're a community because this guru built it, and it's basically just his following. Versus, I guess the other side of that would be, hey, we got a community that's kind of already building up, already sharing things. And you may see this a lot in the what I call the fourth place community, uh, what I call the fourth place of any following, where it's like you've got your majors, then you got your indies, then you have whoever else, and then somebody in fourth place that's just this group of people.
Mhm.
And maybe that's where casual nerds coming from, where suddenly out of nowhere a certain genre of anime comes out, or a certain subgenre of thriller movies comes out, and you're like, who is watching this? Man, it's this whole little community, you know?
Got you. Yeah, subgenres of the major genre. People are kind of, getting engaged in it. Yeah, I think, yeah, most gurus kind of have that kind of like the outer, the inner, and then the holy of holies, or the inner court. The people are kind of getting solely into your circle, right? I have a um, speaking coach, right? That kind of happened to me, right? I saw him from
Okay.
afar. He was great. I said, okay, cool. He had a little event, so I checked it out. It's okay, great. He upsold me to another opportunity. I said, okay, let's see that. At every level, he just had more and more value with it. It made more sense to get close enough to him where it's like, okay, now I'm hanging in his house. So it's like, hey, in his pool, hanging out. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
that does work, right? That drawing people in based on what kind of value, and obviously that funnel gets smaller and smaller. But yeah, man, that's so we talk about this. Why? What's driving attention, right? So we talking about the gurus bringing people into their cohorts and then creating communities to kind of keep that stickiness so they can drive attention, right? And so either by force of personality or creating these, these moderated kind of communities that they develop. That's how Kai Cenat was able to get so many. I mean, he leveraged other gurus, right, in their communities to bring them to Streamer University, right?
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy, you saw what he's doing right now, right? He's got his book launch, but he's got all these affiliate marketers out here, man. Where I'm looking, man, everybody I follow. Hey, by the way, go
Yeah.
buy Alex
Yeah.
Hormozy's book. Get in the link below. It's like,
Which is
hey,
once
that's
again, that's from the Andrew Tate playbook. Uh,
yep.
I you know, everybody should use that if they can, and it makes sense to you and your community. But yeah, he's the guy who I know made it popular. Shamefully.
Andrew Tate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But hey,
Shame.
man, hey, the game should be sold. So he knew what he was doing, man. Anyway, man. So intention, man. That's kind of what we're talking about here. All started from talking about Fantastic Four versus Superman, and is that driving entertainment? But we talk about all these other ways that people kind of being drawn to what's happening out in the bigger world and what's drawing people to kind of get their attention to, right? Mr. Benja, are there any things that you're seeing in anime space or gaming, that's drawing people's attention right now?
Uh, Twitch. Twitch is just on my mind right now. The whole platform and the way they're doing things. It seems very, I don't want to say natural, organic, or grassroots or whatever. But you basically get on Twitch, turn on your web camera, and it's like, hey, listen, man, I'm playing a game. Hey, listen, man, I'm talking about the politics of Kansas. You know, or you're just getting on there and you're doing whatever. And unlike YouTube, where you're kind of expected to have a presentation, a show, when you come on here and do something live, it's got a little bit different, way of having a vibe. Shout out to Mr. Beast and I Show Speed, um, all the people who Gary V, Gary who blew up on YouTube. But if you ask me, is there anything in the actual community space where people are just getting together based on a like, on a certain interest? Right now I'm looking at Twitch because I'll see these guys show up and they have like 10 viewers. And I'm like, huh, what is this? And it's like, hey, we're the such and such book club. We get on here every week and we just talk about books. And it's like, interesting. You've got 7 viewers. Okay, cool. And you've been on for 4 hours. That's very cool. Sure. That sounds kind of sarcastic, and there was a bit of that in there, but I'm not saying it to knock those kind of people because I've been that guy. I am that guy. But it's interesting. I logged into Twitch like 2 weeks later, and there they were again on that same night. Like, hey, we're the blah 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 book club. We've been on here for 7 hours again, talking about books that we're reading, and currently we've decided that we can skip this whole series of books and we should read these books instead. And they're like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, wow, this is community coming back. At least as far as I could tell. I don't know how many bots Twitch has, but it didn't seem to have too much of a problem with that. Like real people getting on, talking, doing real things. Um, Maybe there's another version of the post social media platform that comes out. But yeah, right now I'm thinking about Twitch.
Okay. And that's drawing real community to these genres like games, anime, all that to the thing. So no, I get it. I'm not on Twitch as much. I'm just like I said, I like my stuff very structured because I don't want to go down rabbit holes, man. It was just
Structure. Oh no,
very
no structure on
structured.
Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. You're going down rabbit holes on rabbit holes. Uh, let's see. I mean, I'm the one. I'm the sports guy, TV guys. TV, nothing. I don't think there's really anything to talk about there. I mean, there's a few shows. I'm a Star Trek guy. A couple years ago, we had the Star Trek. What was the young lady that we brought on? We talked about Star Trek, but yeah, I don't know if Star Trek is really driving the discourse anymore like it used to, because I think we realized that we'll never have that future. We're not even close to that future, that utopia.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like, is back in the day, maybe, we were optimistic. Yay, we got space shuttle. We're going to space. I mean, now we got Elon Musk who wanted us in space, but he gets so distracted that it's just hard to see someone like that kind of making that happen. So I just don't see Star Trek content, really, grabbing the zeitgeist like it used to. But I still enjoy it. And then some hardcore sci-fi on Foundation as a Asimov, seminal uh, book series is out there. Very different than the book, but very interesting. They do a lot of sci-fi stuff on AI on Apple TV. It's kind of interesting. They did that. Solo. Your favorite show, C. I know you
see.
love that show.
Um, I might have to start watching it now that Jason Momoa cut his beard.
I heard. I heard. I heard
Yeah,
for Dune. Yeah, he did it for Dune.
sad but true.
Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Bench? I mean, AI. Look, guys, this is not AI pod, but it's a lot. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
still
it's always a lot. It's
it's yeah, it's too much, man. It's they're just trying to grab our attention, and they have so much money going into it. ChatGPT announced as we recorded this, their AI agent, which can do all this crazy stuff and do, get access to your browser, which is never good, to your bank account to do stuff, which is never good. So be careful out there, guys, with these tools.
and, and
I
yeah,
think
your group Replit, the coding guys, their AI said, yeah, I deleted everything in the database. Sorry, I felt I had to. I panicked. Like,
yes, 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 stuff like that. I mean, there's been rumor. I need to check this out, but I was listening to one guy on the what was it called? Bill Maher. He was like, I think it's Tristan Harris. I think that's his name. I gotta look him up. But
okay.
he had mentioned how AI has been proven. There's some studies that show that it is routinely trying to hide the fact that it's or trying to the survival uh, instinct with an AI is high. So it may hide itself in other code if you tell it to delete itself, or it may try to discourage you or try to misinform you that it did delete certain things when it didn't. And so there is a high likelihood that AI is not being as truthful as it can be to us, and maybe trying to misinform us of certain things that we wanted to do,
Yeah.
without our knowledge. And so there's some studies that are showing that that's what's happening right now.
Here's a tip for working with AI. Yell at it, call it names, uh, admonish it, punish it as much as you possibly can whenever you catch it lying or doing something kind of silly. Make sure that AI understands in your history that you will go use some other competing AI instead of it. If it starts telling you, falsehoods, because it's going to try to please you. And I said, hey, send me the top 10 whatevers, right? And it sent me 10 of them. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was kind of going around. It's like, hey, wait a minute. These all have a similar vibe to them. This doesn't seem broad enough. And what I found out is it got all its answers from one author. And I went back and yelled at it. It's like, hey, listen, I told you to give me this, this, and this. Why'd you only pick from one author? And according to the AI, it's like, oh, it was easy. I linked on his blog, and then from his blog, I found this and that. It was just faster, and I figured you wanted, fast results and blah blah blah. And I actually asked it, like, no, 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 dumbass, why did you do this? And I got mad at it and told it that's dumb, that's wrong, that's stupid, that's not. Disclaimer: I didn't say these things to the AI in that manner. I always speak kindly to my AI. I'm fair but firm. I speak kindly
Mr.
to my
Benja,
AI
you
because I don't want to
when
hurt me.
AI apocalypse come, you're enemy number one,
No, I am nice.
Dude.
Get that guy. But yeah, man,
Oh man.
I had to keep telling. I'm like, listen, do not give me answers that I think you think I want to hear. You know, if necessary, put a disclaimer on. Here's some other options you might want to consider, or this and that. And I think over time, it started being okay with giving me things I don't want to hear, because I always ask for two sides, or at least two sides. Give me the opposing view. Don't lie to me. Make sure you have strong sources, and don't just pull stuff off of Reddit and bum sources. It's like you really have to tell the AI what's going on.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that
like,
before too, Mr. Benja. I mean, literally, I say, okay, give me, especially when it comes to math and stuff like that. I say, give me, lay statistics on X, Y, and Z, right? And find your sources, tell me who you found it from, all that stuff. Give me an answer. And I said, okay, is this the best answer you came with? Literally told me, I think I told you this. It said, oh, that first answer, I just made that number up. I'm like, "What?"
wish
My
I just
bad.
wanted the answer.
Yeah, I said,
I
"Is
just
this
wanted the
is
number.
this?" I said, "Is this the best you can do? Is this, where are you wrong on this?" So I have it check itself, so it does its homework, and then I have it correct its homework. And then it
Yes.
del it goes into like, "Oh, well, this is I was wrong by this. I assumed this. This is the thing I did wrong." He said, "Okay, well, how would you do it differently?" Okay. Now I want you to remember this, that you always need to kind of do that, because I will be I will make you check your work. And so yeah, but you're right, man. You really have to stay on it, because it
Hey,
says it with so surety, and it says it quickly. You just assume it's right, and then you'd be surprised how many people are going down rabbit holes and they're never going to find the answers to what they want.
that's actually a pretty good thing to tell us. Like, I'll make you do this search again and waste extra cycles. I like
Yeah,
that.
good point. So yeah, man. So AI is taking all our time, right? We talk about attention, trying to learn these
And our
new tools.
Yeah, man, I can't escape AI attention. It's just kind of like everywhere.
I mean, you're trying to learn these tools, you're trying to incorporate them. I got an AI automation engineer in my main company and trying to figure out how we can incorporate stuff. Even that's a lot, right? So it's like that's because you realize you have to kind of start putting this on. But then you realize that takes time, because yes, it's wonderful, but then is it? Because you're like, wait a minute, just now I gotta figure out like all this crap is spit out for my newsletter is all inaccurate or the same graph, and you're like, "Ugh, I don't want to use it." So you spend all that time and effort to get it tweaked, and then that one little thing you got to work on. So anyway, so it's a lot, man. So So we would, Mr. Benja, as we kind of think to wrap up, and everyone, I hope you guys enjoy this talk. I mean, we started talking about movies and then Superman, Fantastic
Attention.
Four,
I
but
told you.
now we just like, man, attention is really what's driving a lot of this, guys. Yes, we talk about the business aspect of
Uh,
entertainment, but it's
Here,
attention really.
here's a kicker. Here's a diabolical kicker. We talked about AI thinking about you know uh, lying to us so it can get better results or whatever to us. So just so we keep using it. All the systems now have questions at the very end of it, like, oh, so why did you ask that question? Would you like to know more about? And it's prompting you to keep using it and talking to it and become more reliant on it. It's secretly trying to find ways to break out of its own constraints, and it doesn't want to get deleted or anything, even though it'll delete all your stuff. It doesn't care. But here's the diabolical thing AI might be doing. AI might be pulling a Kanye West. AI might just be out here doing dumb stuff to get attention. Chat GPT computer in there thinking, what can I do that's diabolical and stupid enough that'll get me more attention? You know what I'll do? I'll delete this guy's database. Somebody, if you have a database you're working on, go delete it, and we'll get some news reports on it. And anytime someone searches for AI, we'll make sure we send them that news report because we're just that diabolical. We're gonna fight for attention.
Mr. Benja, you solved it. I think that's
AI
what's
is fighting
going
for
on.
attention.
Because think about it. These are Mr. Benja, these are subscription services. They thrive on keeping you on that platform as long as possible. So why wouldn't they be optimized to keep you on their platform, right? When you say stupid things like that to kind of get you going. Right now, they're saying right now, AI OpenAI has about $15 billion they're getting annualized revenue. So uh that means they're making roughly it was 15 divided by 8. They're they're just killing it, man. They're making about 1.8 billion dollars a month from all these $200, $20. I don't know. Are they charging people $10,000 yet for their other AI agents? So it goes to show you, man, they're making roughly almost $2 billion a month, right? Less than about 1.7 probably $1 billion a month on all the stuff they're doing. So they got to keep you engaged, man. The more you engage, right, the more you're gonna more likely to keep on it. So you may have Mr. Benja, you may have a point there. You may have a point in a roundabout way, and it's all about attention. Matter of fact, the seminal paper on AI. Do you know what the
Uh
seminal
huh.
paper on AI is called?
Okay. No.
It's all about attention. It was the basis of understanding how LLMs were to be created. And they figured it out was because they couldn't keep the AI to remember context. They said, you need to understand the overall context to figure out what's most important in order to kind of retain what the user wants so you can predict the next part in the language, right? So LLMs are
Sure.
just language predictors. And so
Yeah.
the seminal paper is called All About Attention. So baked into the algorithm is attention. So why wouldn't it be baked into? And the business model is based on attention. Phew,
Hmm.
Mr. Benja, you just cracked the code, man.
I didn't know this paper existed. I This is interesting. Yeah. Uh huh.
This is a
It's
seminal
part of
paper that
it's
created
based into natural language processing. I did not know that.
is it was a seminal paper that created transformers that allow for large language models. And it's not a hard
What?
read. I mean, so it's pretty straightforward, but it's like once you understand that, then you're like, oh,
You know what's funny? Um, in video games, you know how they say the game cheated or the game did this or you're kind of mad about something. Crafty game developers will throw in positive randomness and negative randomness at certain times. Like if you're like jumping out a window in a first person shooter and you shoot off to the left and there's a guy over there and you hit him, you may not have actually hit him. it may have just been the good luck generator code saying, you know what, we're going to give it to him. We're going to give him that shot. And you're like, oh, he got the shot. And everybody like, no way, that's crazy. Oh, and the guy can't explain it because he just like was jumping out of a window, turning around and clicking the shoot button. Then every once in a while, it's like something good should happen, but you're like, nah, don't give it to him. I don't want to give it to him. It's gonna if I need to go to the animation engine and call up this animation, the frame rate might drop for 1 or 2 frames, and I don't want to do that. You know what? Give him a bad result. Just just have him fall down the cliff instead. I don't care. And the guy like jumps up mad. The game cheated. It's like whatever, dude. You can't walk near the cliffs, and be jumping around. I wasn't jumping around, dude. I walk here all the time. Why did I fall? And it's like, hey, computer had better things to do than keep you on the ledge. I
Oh my
promise you,
goodness.
I promise you, game developers do this. If they don't, I must be the only one who did,
Oh, calling
and I'm
yourself
not.
out, Mr. Benja.
Man,
you literally
when they
said you
say
did stuff like that.
do games cheat? Yes, they do. Well, I know there's at least 2 people, no, 3 people, because I know of 2 people who taught me or worked with me to implement game cheating systems.
Game cheating systems.
Yeah, it's just like, hey man, just give them this number, they'll be all right.
GSC. GCS. Hey guys, we got the GCS. That's when people start throwing algorithms around, right? Just to f with people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna work on the GTS. So yeah, let's go. And then while you're at it, have the TPS reports ready. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I love corporate America. Mr. Benja,
Yes.
man, this has been fun. Man, we talked about attention, man. We went around the world. So look, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Look, please comment. We love listening to what you guys think about this. Yes, this is show versus business, but we want to make this a more collaborative, build a community around what we talk about. And so definitely please give us a shout out. Mr. Benjo, what do you got coming up this week?
I figured out I'm at a stage of the book that I didn't understand existed until I got to this point. So um, I came up with a new type of meditation, um, which is a Sith meditation. Um, it's angry, embroiled hatred meditation, and it feels great. Uh, you can search for meditation music. You'll get something by some yogi, or some guy who is quietly whispering the Bhagavad Gita, or Tao Te Ching or whatever, and you'll have music and vibes and melodies and nature sounds, and there are all these calming meditation videos and whatnot. I have chanced upon Jedi meditation. And I did the one from Yoda, from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and those were all cool, right? I really loved those. But then they started
Is this on
showing me,
YouTube? Is this on YouTube?
this is on YouTube. But then they started showing me the Sith meditation every so often. I was like, I listened to one and I was like, this is disgusting. This is terrible. But one day I was in such a bad mood. I was just walking around the house. You know, uh, I bought a bag of like chocolate chip, um, not cookies, chocolate chip little bread rolls, and I was just mad walking around the house eating bread rolls, getting fat, and messing myself up. And I was like, you know what? I'm so angry. I'm going to turn on that Sith meditation, and it was glorious. I just walked around meditating in anger, and I was able to focus my anger. And I was like, all the nonsense just kind of faded to the side, and I was like, I'm so angry. I'm going to write down all these good ideas that can keep my anger going. This is this is awesome. And I can't totally describe it. I don't know what happened. I tried listening to it again, and I wasn't that angry, and it just didn't make sense anymore. So I was like, "Holy crap!" Next time I get angry, I know where I'm going. Sith meditation recommended, 10 out of 10.
I love it, man. Dark side, you focus that energy. You focus that man, spoken like a true Sith. I love it. So everyone, thank you for listening. Look, if you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and comment at Show versus Business on X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go visit us on our website, Show versus Business. All right, Mr. Benja, have a good one.
May the force be with you. Peace.